Hola fans, oigan, pues bienvenidos a la segunda parte del gran video que puse ayer, creo que ayer lo puse, sí, ayer lo puse y hoy, al día siguiente estoy grabando la parte 2 porque ya estoy con que tengo 2-3 días que la iba a grabar y nunca la grabé. Pero bueno fans, como pueden ver, déjenme pongo mi celular aquí, ahí está. Yo estoy a gusto. I'm comfortable. I have my own little, ¿cómo se dice cojines en inglés? Pillows. I have my pillows here. I'm comfortable para poder ladearme así más o menos. Y a Marley le tuve que poner una colcha porque Marlo estaba teniendo frío, fans. Es que a mí me gusta tener bien fría la casa, siempre. Siempre me gusta tener bien fría la casa. Y ahorita que está nublado, it's even colder because it's like cloudy and it's been a little bit chilly out. Not really chilly, but it's been like kind of cool outside. So it's and I have the fan on and I have it like at 1 or 2. Because this is the remote that we use for like the fan, and it has from 1 to 6, and we always have it on 2, and 2 is pretty high. Así que sí, como pueden ver, Marlo tenía frío, entonces le tuve que poner una colcha. Y ahí está todo acurrucado, aquí está la cabeza de Marlo. No sé si la puedan ver. A ver si se puede ver o no. Sí, sí se puede ver. Aquí está Marlo. ¡Ting! Y ya le puse su colchis porque ya tenía mucho frío. Oigan, fans, pero bueno, I'm gonna go ahead and keep talking about the story, what we all came for, what you guys came for. Part 2 of my great story of all of my jobs that I've had so far here in Austin. ¿En qué me quedé? I think I left off in... I think it was like where I said that I had got the job at Favor, right? Yeah, okay. I actually want to tell you guys something funny about like, it's not funny, but like, I think to me it's a little bit funny. So my interview for Favor, I had it in my truck at that moment. I had another truck. I had it in my truck inside, literally just my phone like this. I don't remember if it was video call or not. No me acuerdo si era por videollamada o no. Pero la entrevista la tuve en la camioneta, fans. O sea, literalmente estaba sentado en la camioneta. Era mi hora de lonche. No comí ese día. Ay, no comí. Me encanta comer. No comí ese día. Y me acuerdo que se me hace que sí fue nada más llamada. Es que no me acuerdo si fue videollamada o no. Tuvo que haber sido llamada, porque si hubiera sido videollamada, si hubiera dicho así como que no, tengo que irme a otra parte o así. So I'm pretty sure it was like a phone call. But guys, I was like, I really wanted to get the hell out of Home Depot. Like, I was like, girl, get me out of here ASAP. I was like, girl, I need to get out. So I remember that, I was like, I'm going to have my interview. And like whatever day it is, I remember that I called them, or not that I called them, but I applied. And then I think they sent me a form asking me like, when can you interview? Creo que me mandaron una forma preguntándome como que cuándo puedes entrevistar. Algo así, no me acuerdo, pero yo me acuerdo que yo puse así como que lo más pronto posible. I was like, as soon as possible I can interview. It does not matter the day, the time, girl, give me an interview. Entonces, pues ya, fue cuando estaba en el trabajo. Y me acuerdo que entrevisté así de que en la camioneta. And I was just in my vehicle like, yeah, answering questions. People were passing by. And I remember that day specifically, I parked in an area where it was like at the very, very back of the parking lot. Because I was like, girl, I don't want people to be passing by. Porque obviamente en Home Depot siempre están echando cosas y todos ahí. Hay mucho ruido y así. So then I was like, I have to make sure that I park in an area where there's not a lot of noise. So I parked at the very back and I was literally, I don't think I turned my vehicle on. No, I think I did because I had to turn the air on because girl, I sweat so much. Yeah, pues I had the interview and then I got the job. And like I told you guys in the other video, I just quit like on the spot. Once I got the phone call saying like, oh, you got the job. I was like, girl, I'm out. So I called and I was like, hi, I'm not going to be able to go anymore. Okay, bye. Boom. Y fans, o sea, obviamente, cada trabajo, like every single job that I've done has its pros and cons. O sea, todos los trabajos tienen sus cosas buenas y sus cosas malas. O sea, no hay, como nada en la vida, trabajo perfecto. O sea, no hay nada perfecto. Entonces, yo en ese momento, yo me acuerdo que yo dije, no, güey, o sea, con madre, ya me voy a salir de Home Depot, estoy súper cansado, que se vayan a la chingada, o sea, adiós, bye. Como dice mi tía Beba, saludos a mi tía Beba, adiós, bye. Entonces, yo así como que no, ya. Pero fans, o sea, haz de cuenta que cuando yo empecé este trabajo en Favor, realmente no entendía muy bien, o sea, lo que iba a tener que hacer. I didn't really understand what I was going to do at Favor because I was like, girl, like I read the description, but I'm sure it's happened to all of us that you read a job description and you're like, oh, okay. And then like if they ask you, so like, what are you going to do? You're like, I don't know. That's literally me. I read the job description and I was like, customer service, yeah, like whatever, yeah. And I was like, okay, me. But now, like, when it came to it, I was like, girl, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? Wait, how does my hair look? Let me just look at my hair real quick. Ah, okay, es que pensé que se me veía así como que, no. Everything is good. Do not worry. Entonces, fans, la verdad, I didn't know what I was going to do. So anyways, after that, they sent me the equipment. I went through the training. I think training was like a week or 2 weeks long because, dude, I thought Favor was going to be easy because I was like, okay, I'm going to be working from home. It's going to be easier than like, you know, coming to work and this and that and, you know, having to pick up stuff and this and that. It was not like easier. I mean, it was a little bit easier, but like, physically, mentally, dude, that job was hard because I don't even know how it works now because I know like HEB bought Favor recently, like not recently, but they did buy Favor. Pero fans, esas de que yo estaba así como que, güey, ¿qué? O sea, me describieron, o sea, hasta en el entrenamiento, like during training, everything that they were telling me, like, you know, you're gonna have to do this, do that. And then whenever, you know, someone asks for this, go in here, get this, get it from there, get this information from here, click here, call this person, you can reach out to the restaurant, reach out to the runner, all these things. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, girl, I don't get it. And it's not that. One of the things that I've learned about myself as the years have gone by is like physically and mentally, I stop myself from so many things that I know I can do, but mentally I tell myself, dude, I can't do that. And I'm like, but I can. It's just the fear that stops me. So that's another lesson. Esa es otra lección, fans, que la verdad yo siento que a como han pasado los años, yo me he sentido en muchas ocasiones de mi vida como que sea lo que sea así como que de trabajo, personal, físico, ejercicio y así, que veo algo y digo, yo no puedo hacer eso. O sea, y digo, no, es que no puedo, está bien difícil. Y digo, o sea, y soy yo soy el único que me detengo, yo soy el único que me pongo el pie, yo soy el único que me estoy deteniendo. O sea, porque nadie me está diciendo nada, solamente yo, de que no puedo. Y me he dado cuenta que cuando intento, cuando lo hago, cuando me pongo a hacer, o sea, digo, sí, la maléfica aquí, esto, o sea, le agarro la onda. So I'm like, girl, I'm the only one that has stopped myself in so many things. And I know this happens to all of us a lot, but I'm like, I hate that about myself, that I know that I can do it, but like in my head, I'm like, I cannot do that. I'm like, that is too much for me. You're asking too much for me. And the pay is not what I'm expecting. No, not that. But I'm like, yeah, dude, like, I know I can do it, but I just stop myself. And I'm like, no. Pero bueno, ya después de que me enseñaron todo y así, like, as time was passing by, I was still scared because I had to take phone calls. Because it's like, after training is done, they throw you into the water. And it's like, okay, you're going to have to start answering phone calls from restaurants, from runners, from customers, people that are expecting their food, their groceries, their orders, like all these things. And it's not like, it literally is, okay, someone calls me and I'm like, hello. And they're like, hey, you know, where's this person? They're not here yet. So I have to look up the person by their ID. I have to see where they're at. I have to give like that information like, oh yeah, they're about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, blah, blah, blah. Or sometimes it's like, dude, customers would call and they'd be like, hey, it says my order's dropped already here, but it's not. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna have to sneeze. I think so. Excuse me. I'm not going to edit that out, girl, because, listen, I'm not just going to edit that. I'm not going to take my time to edit that. So, anyways, if you said bless you, thank you, I appreciate it. Entonces, sí, fans, o sea, era muy así de que en el momento, siento que ese tipo de trabajos, por eso te estresan, porque es de que necesito una respuesta ya ahorita. No es como que, ok, tengo ese problema, déjamelo averiguo, a ver qué me dice. No, es de que tengo ese problema, a ver, ¿qué? ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Dónde está eso, lo otro? And that's why like makes it harder, because it's like in the moment. You need to respond in the moment, provide answers in the moment, like give explanations in the moment. And it's like, oh my gosh. So I would pick up the phone sometimes and then people would be like, hey, it says my order has been dropped off, but it's not here. And I'm like, well, I'm like, let me check, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, there's a picture. And then I'm like, hey, is this like, and I would start describing their home. This color, this door, this, little tree you have here, a plant, some kind of decoration. Start describing it. And sometimes they'd be like, yeah, that's it, but it's not here. And I'm like, girl, there's a picture that it was dropped off. And that's where like these kind of services, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because I know it has happened to some people where they drop off your groceries, your order, whatever it is, your stuff, and then, people will go in and get it. But I'm like, girl, most times it's like the app is telling you someone is going to drop it off. You better be there at the door. Or like at least like when it says like, oh, it's delivered, girl, at least go to the door ASAP. You know what I mean? So anyways, pasaba de todo, de que la gente decía, sí, esa es mi casa. Y yo, pues ahí está la foto. Y lo, sí, pero no está aquí. Y yo, I was like, well, we delivered it. I'm sorry, but like it was delivered. And they're like, well, yeah, but it's not here. So what are we going to do? And I'm like, it was delivered. Y ahí es donde te quedas así como que, uy, o sea, el estrés de que yo que, o sea, no que yo que puedo hacer. Because like I knew that in these kind of cases, like I guess you would be like, well, we can provide, I think it was like a refund. I'm not sure. But anyways, that's kind of like what I had to deal with. But shout out to Olivia, this one girl that I worked with. She was so sweet, so nice when I first came in and I went into the team that I was put on. And I remember that Olivia was in that team and she told me, I had never used, what was it? Was it Discord? I had never used Discord before and I've never used it after like working there. But at the beginning, I think for like a good, how long did I work at Favor? I think I worked at Favor for like a year, maybe. I think it was a year. For like a good year, or like 6 to 7 months, guys, the entire shift that I was working, I was on Discord with Olivia. Because there was so many things that I was like, at the beginning, I was like, girl, this is, there's so much. Like, yes, I can understand, but in the moment when I start to get nervous, and that's the other thing, my nerves will get the best of me. Cuando yo me pongo nervioso, fans, siento que es como dicen, cuando pasas por una situación donde te pones así como que nervioso, a ver, tranquilízate, cálmate, respira, tómate de que 1 segundo, 10, 30 segundos, así de que, ok, ¿qué es lo que tengo que hacer? Déjame empiezo esto, ¿cuál es el problema? O sea, analizar las cosas, tomarte el tiempo, y a mí eso, no, fans, a mí me pongo nervioso y ya valió madre todo, soy de que, a ver, ¿qué hago? Espérame, pero, o sea, así estoy, literalmente siento que soy... La última vez estaba platicando con unas primas y dijeron que sí. Siento que soy de las emociones de Inside Out. Oh, girl, I am sadness and anxiety. That's me. I think I'm sadness and anxiety and a little bit of disgust. Like, ugh. You know what I mean? Because she's like, that girl. I think I am sadness and anxiety. So like, yeah, whenever something like that happens, like in the moment, I get so stressed out. And I'm like, wait, but what do I do? And this and that. And I'm like, ugh. So I start panicking. And Olivia, every single time I answered the phone, she was like hearing me because I don't even know how Discord works. I don't remember how it works, but we were like live the entire time. So it wasn't like a video call. It was just like voice, but we were live. It was like if it was a phone call. And then any single thing that I was like, I don't know how to do this. What do I do here? She'd be like, okay, click here. Tell them that you're going to do this, give this information, reach out to this person, ask for this. Like, dude, she was like in her A game in that job. She knew exactly what to do every single time. And I was like, whoo. So, Olivia, thank you so much for helping me out, girl, because you helped me out a lot at that job. Era bastante fans, pero Olivia me ayudó demasiado. Yo dije, ay, gracias a Dios. Si no, imagínate, no, yo ya lo hubiera cagado fácilmente ahí en ese trabajo. Porque es que es bastante fans. Es desde que en el momento... Y aparte, la gente que estaba haciendo los mandados o el delivery... O sea, había veces que no te contestaban. Y tú, mijo, un decir, ¿dónde estás? O sea, necesitas saber dónde estás porque tal mujer me está preguntando. Ah, no te contestaban. Tú llamabas y no te contestaban. Y yo de que... O sea, ay, no. Me estresaba tanto. Y también, si no me equivoco, I think we could do this. We could... No, I don't think we could do that. I was like, girl, I don't think we could have done that. But I don't know. I don't want to say something that I'm like, I don't think we could have done that. Because I don't think we could do that, but it would happen. Like, they would cut, like, or they would remove the payment from the runners if they didn't do the job correctly. I think they would do that. I'm not sure, girl. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't know if that was a thing or not. But, girl, give me a second. Give me a water break. Do you guys hear that? It's so windy outside. Dude, that's my favorite weather. Me encanta que esté nublado y lloviendo y eso me encanta. Me emociona, me apasiona. Me encanta que esté lloviendo, fans. A mí, un día soleado... Oh, my goodness. No sé, no me gusta. Digo, para ir a la alberca, pues sí, ¿verdad? Pero en general, un día soleado... Ay, no, que esté nublado, que esté corriendo aire, que esté lloviendo, que se sienta frío. Ay, eso me encanta, fans. Esperen. Marley ya nos está hallando. Right? Are you so comfortable? Yes, so comfy, Marley. So handsome. Siempre le digo así a Marlo. Los que saben, saben. Mi prima Marcela siempre dice, hi Marlo, so handsome. Siempre dice eso. Porque siempre digo eso yo. Pero sí, fans. O sea... What was I saying? Yes. I think they could remove their pay or like whatever they would like get if like they didn't do the job right, which is kind of like I understand, but also I'm like, well, they still drove. I don't know, girl. We used to do something like that when they didn't do it right. But anyways, guys, what pissed me off about that job is the fact that your computer was a phone as well. So our job as customer service, like I said, to our customers, our clients, and I don't know what else, was literally to answer the phone. So every single, like, how many? At least, the phone would ring probably at least like 40 to 50 times. And I say the phone, but I mean my computer. Excuse me, oh my goodness. The phone would ring like 40 to 50, yeah, I think it was like 40 to 50 times, and it's your computer, and it was like, din-in-in, din-in-in, and I was like, oh my goodness. At the beginning, I was like, okay, that's fine, like, I would get nervous, I wouldn't really think about, like, you know, the tone, and I was like, okay, hello, da-da-da, and then every single time it would ring, I'm like, oh shit, and I'm like, oh, okay, and then, hi, you know, thank you for calling, favor, blah, 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 but after, like, 2 months, dude, it's like, oh my goodness. You want to throw that computer across the room. Cause it's the tone that like the ring, like the dun-dun-dun, dude. I have never in my life yelled at a girl like that. I have never in my life, dude, felt that emotion of like wanting to throw my computer across the room. Jamás había sentido así, fans, esa emoción, ese sentimiento de querer aventar la computadora así de que a la pared, de que ya cállate. Jamás. Pero la razón por la que lo sentí en ese trabajo es porque la computadora sonaba como si fuera un celular. Entonces, en la computadora sonaba como 50 veces al día. Porque era de que... O sea, ese era mi trabajo, atender llamadas. Entonces yo estaba así de que, bueno, you know, whatever it is going on, this is now, okay, whatever. Pero cada vez que sonaba la computadora, ay, no, fan. Todavía me acuerdo que yo me estresaba tanto que sonara la computadora. It was like literal torture. It was literal torture because I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot take this ring anymore. It was horrible. It was horrible. I mean, I worked from home. That was the benefit. I worked from home. I had my days off, you know, and then my pay was pretty much a dollar or two, maybe. Maybe it was like $1 or $2, or maybe like $4 more than what I was getting paid at Home Depot. And I was like, you know what, girl? That's fine. Like, I'm not going to worry about it. Like, I need this job, whatever. But then I think I worked at Favor for like a year. If I'm not mistaken, I worked at Favor for like a year. But anyways, that was Favor. And then another of So's friends, dude, So's friends have been saving my life since I came to Austin. But it's because it's como dicen, no es lo que sabes, sino a quien conoces. It's not what you know, but who you know. And that's very important, and that is very true. So another one of So's friends, his name is Ryan. Shout out to Ryan. Ryan was actually working for a company that it's a third-party company that had a contract with Google. So that company was in charge. They were hiring recruiter coordinators, because then that's when you have to what's it called? Like recruiter coordinators, you would schedule the interviews of the people that were applying to Google. So he told Zoe, and Zoe was like, well, if you want to do that, like that's something else you could do. And I was like, listen, anything to get me out of here. I'm like, I'm so tired of this job. A Favor. And that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like every job has been like a, what do they call it? A rescue? Like a way out, a rescue or something like that. I don't know how they call it. But every single job that I've had has been like my way out of, I can't do this job anymore. And then, something comes up and I'm like, okay, let me take it. Because I'm like, I can't do this anymore. But that doesn't mean that, you know, every job, like I said, every job has its pros and cons. Así que cada trabajo ha sido como que mi salvavidas, porque en el momento así de que digo, ya no puedo hacer ese trabajo, pero como vuelvo a repetir lo mismo, o sea, sí me salvaba, en ese momento me salvaba de la emoción y el sentimiento que yo sentía en los trabajos de que ya no quiero, ya no puedo y así, pero pues no significa que los trabajos eran como, o sea, vuelvo a lo mismo, va a haber las cosas buenas y cosas malas. So I applied to that job. I had an interview and I got the job. And I think at Favor, I put my 2 weeks notice, if I'm not mistaken. I think I did put my 2 weeks notice there. Yeah, I did. I put my 2 weeks notice at Favor. Once I interviewed and I got the job to become a recruiter coordinator with Signature. That's the name of the what's it called? That's the name of the company that I worked for before, Signature Consultants. And like I said, it was a third-party company. I think that's how you say it. It's a third-party company, and then, you know, I got hired. But guys, that job was a highlight of my life. And I'm going to explain why. Ese trabajo fue una de las mejores cosas que me pudo haber pasado en mi vida. Y les voy a explicar por qué. In that job, when I got hired, they were like, you're gonna have to go to the office. And they were like, at least 3 days out of the week, because that's when COVID wasn't really a thing anymore. It was a thing. But what I'm trying to say is, like, the laws weren't as strict as they were when COVID first started. So I think you had to show your proof of vaccination card. Is that how you say it? Proof of vaccination card? Yeah. You had to show your proof of vaccination card, and you had to take it, and then you had to take it to the very top, and then they would give you a badge. And then I had my own badge. And at first I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go to the office. Like, that's fine. I never knew like what the office was gonna look like, what kind of office it was, where it was located. I didn't know anything, guys. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'll go to the office, you know, whatever. Guys, I had to go not just to the office, it was the Google office here in Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas. Entonces, yo no sabía nada, fans. Yo no sabía a dónde iba a ir. Yo no sabía nada. Tenías que enseñar. Pero me dijeron como que tienes que ir a la oficina. Son 3 días. De perdido 3 días. Entonces, el lunes no vas. Martes, miércoles, jueves y viernes pues no vas tampoco. Y yo así de que, ok, está bien, no pasa nada. Obviamente estaba así de que, pues no quisiera ir a la oficina. Pero dije, bueno, así es como haces conexiones en la vida y es lo que necesito. Entonces dije, yeah, that's totally fine, I'll do it. Entonces, Como les digo, no sabía dónde estaba la oficina, qué oficina era. Yo dije una oficina de Signature, no, nunca pensé otra oficina. Dije, bueno, y que me van diciendo, fans, que la oficina a la que iba a ir es la oficina de Google en Austin. En Austin, aquí en Austin. Y yo, o sea, yo dije, ¿qué? Entonces para esto ya llegas, tienes que enseñar tu carta de vacunación del COVID y todo eso, y luego te dan tu badge. ¿Cómo se dice badge en español? Pues no sé, tu badge, la tarjetita que usas así, para entrar, porque cuando entrabas al... Sí, como que le chocó. Cuando entrabas a la oficina, agarrabas la badge y luego le hacías así, y es cuando te daba acceso primero para poder usar los elevadores. Después ya le ponías el piso que tú querías, te llevaba a ese piso y ya pues de ahí entrabas. Pero obviamente igual, o sea, te llevaba a ese piso, pero para poder entrar, o sea, de que te abrían las puertas del elevador y ya entrabas, pero luego para poder abrir la puerta para el piso tenías que usar la badge otra vez. Entonces, ese badge era tu llave para todo. So, fans, at the beginning, like, whenever your badge was used for everything. Your badge was like a universal key for everything, and you needed it. Because, like, you would scan it to choose the floor that you were going to go in. Then the elevators would take you. The elevators would open. You would need to scan your badge again to open the doors. Like, everything. And I was like, oh my goodness. And guys, oh my gosh, no. I'm sure a couple of you guys that are watching this video have probably been to the Google office or worked at a Google office. But if you haven't, dude, literally the kind of office or offices that are shown in like movies sometimes, that's literally the Google office. Every single floor had a theme. Every single floor had their own kitchen. They had a sink. They had a fridge. They had all these kinds of drinks, all these kinds of snacks. They had milk. They had fruit. They had breakfast. Every single floor. There was a gym. There was restrooms with showers. There was a place to stretch. There was a music room. There was a cycling room. There was places to work out. There was rooms to dance. Like everything inside that Google office. And I was like, oh my, like I could not believe it that I was there. And you want to know the best part also? Since since the Google office in Austin or they call it like Google campus, I think. And it's a building. And so everything is in that building, and it's only like from a certain floor to a certain floor. Like that's what the Google like campus is. Because it wasn't the entire building. But dude, like there was a cafeteria in like the entire building. Or like that was meant for like Google like employees. And I could eat whatever I wanted. And in that cafeteria, dude, they had so much food that was prepared daily. They had chefs, they had assistant chefs, they had like managers on the floor in the kitchen. There was everything, guys. They always had sweets, they had desserts, they had all these kind of desserts, all this kind of food. They had soups, everything. It was a daily buffet, literally a daily buffet every single day for breakfast and for lunch. And you could get all this food and take it to go. Like you could ask for it, can I have a to-go plate? And then you put all your food in there. You don't finish it, you take it to the room you're at, the floor you're in, your day is done, you take it home. Every single snack in every single floor, you could take the snack, the drink, the cookies, the chips, the fruit, the vegetables, pickles, every single thing you could take. And that was amazing. Like I miss those days. Así que, la verdad, fans, ahí era como si fuera literalmente como que un hotel. O sea, no de que necesariamente un hotel. Pero lo que me refiero es de que estaba todo incluido. Estaba todo incluido. O sea, porque es de que entrabas a la oficina y había cuartos de música, cuartos para hacer ejercicio, cuartos de spinning, cuartos para bailar, cuartos de como que sensory, no me acuerdo qué era, pero era así como que para sentir y así, cuartos personales donde tú para concentrarte, oficinas. Y cada piso, fans, tenía su propia como cocina, porque era una cocina grande, no era así que, ay, una cocinita. No, era una cocina grande, fans. Tenía sinks para, o sea, para lavarte las manos, ¿cómo se dice sink en español? ¿Lavabo? Sí, ¿no? Lavabos. Refrigeradores, tenía, o sea, y había comida, había fritos, sodas, dulces, cacahuates, había así de que postres, pepín, o sea, había todo, fans, todo, todo, todo. Y aparte tenían una cafetería, y en esa cafetería, fans, eras de cuenta un buffet todos los días. Todos los días. And then when there was events, like I think it was Google's birthday one time when I was there, and they had a bunch of Google cupcakes. They had, there was like, and I could get out, like we were like, since we had a contract with Google, we were like not Google employees directly, but we were still not Google employees per se, but part of Google in a way, because we were entitled to everything that a normal Google employee was in that building. I don't remember there being a restriction when they're like, you can't do that because you're not part, because you're not part of like Google employee. I don't remember there being anything like that. And then if you needed to get like in every single floor, there was also a like cabinet, like kind of like the ones that you see at school that are full with material supplies. Yeah, they had that too. And you can get them because if you needed something to write down, if you needed a pen, if you needed a marker, a highlighter, a Sharpie, a pencil, notebooks, whatever it is you needed, a binder, it was there. Everything was there and you can get it. And I was like, and now that's when I understood this is why people want to work at Google. Because I'm like, dude, this wants to make me come to work. Porque dije yo, mija, teniendo esto todos los días, ¿tú crees que no voy a querer ir a la oficina? O sea, obviamente yo decía, güey, mándame a la oficina. O sea, voy a comer bien rico, voy a tener mi propio espacio para trabajar, todo, o sea, mi computadora, mi cuarto, porque todos los días nosotros podíamos hacer book un cuarto. Entonces tú dices de que, ay, yo voy a ocupar este cuarto durante este día. Entonces un día antes lo haces book, lo reservabas y ahí estabas todo el día en la oficina. Y la oficina tenía tele, tenía para conectar la computadora, para hacer una videollamada, tenía para cargar el celular, tenía todo, fans. O sea, those Google offices, girl, they are not playing. And that's because I go back to the same thing. Here in Austin, it's a building, and it's only like, it's not the entire building. Wait, or was it? No, it wasn't. It wasn't the entire like building for Google. It was only like, I think it was like the top part of the building. So like from the very top to like a certain part. Fans, ahorita que me estoy acordando, había hasta un lugar que era como un tipo café. Tenían su propia cafetería de que para comida y así, pero era de que tenían su propio coffee shop, lugar de café, donde tú ibas y pedías el café que tú quisieras. Pero había un cuarto en especial que era como que así de que no vintage, pero todo era de madera. O sea, haz de cuenta que entraste a una película. O sea, it was so shocking. Like now that I'm remembering, there was they even had their own coffee shop, which was like the floor above the cafeteria. They had their own coffee shop. And you got whatever the hell you wanted in that coffee shop. And then in that same like Google office, there was like this room that was like kind of hidden in a way. But it just looked like, not like Bridgerton, but it was just the way it was decorated. It was so pretty. It was like vintage, but not vintage. I don't know. It was like brown, but like, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even have a picture. I don't think I do. But it's just so like when a company puts that much effort into their office, you're like, oh, I definitely want to come to work. You know what I mean? And now that I'm thinking about it, I did work from the favor office because like we could work from the favor office as well if we wanted to, and like I think I did. It was a smaller building. It was a way smaller building. It was only like 2 floors, I think. And then it was also big. They had their own cafeteria. They also had their own snacks. Well, it wasn't cafeteria though. It was their own kitchen, and they had their snacks as well. I think they had some sandwiches in there too that you can get. But dude, that's why I'm like, now I understand why everyone wants to work at Google. Because it's like the Google office was just like, it's insane. It's insane. Like it makes you want to go to work. There's so many different things. Like I said, mostly every single floor that belonged to Google had their own theme. And it was so cool. Like it really was so cool. And I miss it so much. And yeah, that was the first time I got laid off. That was the first time I got laid off. I worked there for a year, if I'm not mistaken. And that's when I think that's when remote work was barely a thing. Like it barely started happening, or like it was doing really, really good, like remote work. So that's why Google or like this company was hiring a lot of people, because like Google needed a lot of people. But dude, and then I even remember like the first year, because of how good like Google was doing, how good we were doing our job and everything, we even got a bonus on Christmas. It was like a $1,500 bonus or like $1,200 bonus. And I was like, oh my God, like I could not believe it. I was like, dude, this is literally like the best company in the world to work for. And then I got laid off. I remember that. I think it was like we got laid off. I worked for a whole year, and then I think we got laid off. I got my bonus in December, and if I'm not mistaken, I got laid off in February. I think it was February, because it wasn't like right after, but it was also still cold. So I think it was February, dude. And oh my goodness, I could not believe it. I was like, what the hell? Dude, I was like in complete shock. I felt so bad because I was like, I was doing my job, like, what the hell? Like I was sad. I was so sad. I was so upset. And I remember that when that happened, I was like, and I remembered because it was a Friday, I woke up and it was still cold. And then one of my friends, Marae, shout out to Marae. Hello, Marae. Love you and I miss you. She became one of my best friends ever. And she texted me that day and she was like, hey, do you have access to your computer? And I was like, immediately I woke up that day, because I was like, it's a Friday, I'm gonna wake up late. Dije, no pasa nada, porque me acuerdo que en diciembre primero todo estaba súper bien, y luego en diciembre, de tan bien que nos estaba yendo a la compañía, nosotros y todo nos dieron un bono. Eran como $1,200 o $1,500. Y después de que pasó eso, me acuerdo que ¿cómo se dice? Me acuerdo que después de que pasa eso es cuando nos dejan ir. Entonces un día, era un viernes, y creo que era en febrero, si no me equivoco. Y una de mis amigas me manda un mensaje y me dice, oye, ¿tienes acceso a tu computadora? Y yo me acababa de levantar porque como era viernes, yo dije, o sea, pues me voy a levantar tarde porque voy a trabajar de casa y así. Entonces leo ese mensaje y yo inmediatamente, fans, o sea, yo todavía estaba acostado, entonces abro mi celular y luego empiezo a checar y veo su mensaje y luego veo que dice como que todavía tienes acceso, y yo inmediatamente me levanté y yo dije, güey, ¿qué? O sea, en mi mente yo dije, no mames, ya nos van a dejar ir. O sea, lo primero que se me vino a la mente. Entonces me levanté, me voy a la oficina, o sea, la oficina de que ahí en el apartamento donde estábamos viviendo. Entonces al otro cuarto que usábamos como oficina, y de ahí se que abrí la computadora y yo poniendo así la contraseña y lo enter, y lo no, y yo enter, nada. And I was like, what the hell? So Marae texted me and she was like, hey, do you have access to your computer? I was still laying down in bed, I still remember, because it was a Friday, I wasn't gonna work in the office. And then that's when I was like, oh my gosh, immediately woke up, I stood up and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, dude, did we get laid off? And then Marae I remember her text and she said, I'm so sorry, Raul, I think we got laid off. And I'm like, no. Immediately I went to my computer and I was like, my password, enter, nothing. And I was like, again, password, enter. No. I tried it like 3 or 4 times. I was like, no, dude, no, like this cannot be. And yep. it was that we got laid off. I remember that Marae, either she got a call first or I got it first. I don't remember. But from the girl that, was keeping track of us and this and that from Signature. And she was like, hi, unfortunately, Google has decided that they hired a lot of people and, they need to let go of some people. So unfortunately, you were affected by that. And I was like, shut the hell up. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, no, dude, no. Like, I felt so bad. O sea, sí, después de eso, pues sí, resulta que sí era eso. No jaló mi contraseña. La que estaba encargada de mi amiga y de mí y de otras personas, la compañía me marca y me dice de que sí, es que Google contrató a muchísima gente y pues no, o sea, no pueden estar pagando tanta gente, porque era cuando ya, o sea, como que primero íbamos así, que de subida y después fue cuando se viene la bajada. Y fue la primera vez que pasaron los layoffs en tech, que fue cuando todo el mundo se quedó así como que, what the hell? Porque, o sea, they laid off demasiada gente. What I'm saying is, like, I remember that time, it was like, when we were going, like, up, and then all of a sudden, it just came, like, crumbling down. And that's when they were like, we need to lay off people. And that's when Google, like, that was the first time they had mass layoffs. So it wasn't just us as a third party company that were being let go, but also like Google employees were being let go. And I remember people that have been working at Google for like 15 to 20 years have been let go. Cause I went through LinkedIn and all these people were saying like, I am in shock. Like, why was I let go? Like, it was insane, dude. And if it hurt me that I worked there for a year, imagine people that worked there for like 15 years. You definitely feel lost and you're like, what? Like, did I do something wrong? And obviously, they're always telling you like, you didn't do anything wrong. It's part of the company. The company was, decisions that the company made and blah, blah, blah. But still, dude, you feel bad. You feel like, oh my goodness, like, what the hell am I going to do next? So it was horrible. It was honestly horrible. But then fast forward, Ryan, which was also working with me, so like a Zoe's friend, Ryan, he was letting me know, he told Zoe to tell me, so Ryan, dude, you've always come in clutch. Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you. I miss you, and I hope you're doing good. Ryan actually told Zoe, like, hey, there is a company that's hiring all these people that got laid off from Google, because this company has contracts with other companies for the exact same thing that we were doing at Google. So then Zoe tells me, he gives me a phone number. And then I think Marae told me as well about this. I think Marae told me too. Or either she gave me the phone number, I gave her the phone number. I don't remember, but it was something like that. And then I was like, oh my goodness. So, okay. So then I remember that I called this phone number and then I gave him my information. I think it was Marae as well. I don't remember that well, but I called this lady. This lady asked for all of my information. I got an interview that same week. So like I called on a Monday and then I think it was like either on a Wednesday or Thursday I got an interview. But I didn't know it was an interview. Así que, o sea, nos dejaron ir. Después de que nos dejaron ir, el amigo de Zoe, que se llama Ryan, hace cuenta que le vuelve a decir a Zoe, oye, todas las personas que dejaron ir, hay otra compañía que los está contratando porque ellos tienen contratos con otras compañías grandes también haciendo lo mismo que hacíamos nosotros para Google. Entonces dijo, este es el número, no sé, creo que Ryan y Murray, los dos me estaban ayudando porque los dos se dieron cuenta de eso. Entonces, entre los dos me ayudaron y yo ya marqué el número, di mi información y todo, me contesta una señora y la señora me dice así como que, ok, dame tu información. Eso fue un lunes, creo, o un viernes. Y me dice, la próxima semana voy a tener una junta contigo y con la persona que está contratando. O sea, como que un recruiter o algo así. Y yo dije, ok, está bien. Fans, me dijo que era una junta, pero en realidad era una entrevista. Y yo así de que, o sea, y yo no sabía, hasta una hora antes, ella me dice, oye, nada más para que sepas, no es una junta nada más, realmente es una entrevista. Y yo, mija, me hubiera, o sea, girl, I'm like, because when I gave all my information and then I got my meeting, which was not a meeting, I think it was like an hour before, or like, I don't know if it was an hour before or a day before, I don't remember, but it was like a super short notice when she was like, hey, just so you know, this is not just like a meeting, this is actually an interview. And I'm like, girl, you should have told me this like since the very beginning. Like, what do you mean? So anyways, I had that meeting and thank God I got hired. And that's when I started working in this job that I was as well. Entonces ya después de que tuve esa junta con esa persona, me contrataron, gracias a Dios, y empecé a trabajar. Luego empecé a trabajar porque vuelvo a lo mismo. Estaban contratando a todas las personas que habían dejado ir de ese contrato porque esa compañía estaba, o sea, necesitaba ayuda para poder seguir, o sea, haciendo lo mismo, y necesitaban más gente. So, like, immediately I started working right after, and that was my past job. And I was there for 3 years, dude. I was there for 3 years. This other company is called Randstad. So I was at Randstad for 3 years. And it was the exact same thing that I was doing, that I was already doing, but I was working from home. So I couldn't, because we still had a contract with Google. That's the crazy part. It was the exact same thing because we still had a contract with Google. So nothing changed. The only thing that changed was like company and like me working from home. But like work-wise, everything was exactly the same. So I was like, that's a little bit crazy. That's a little bit weird. And yeah, of course, like throughout the years that I had been with Randstad, it was 3 years. Because literally a week before I got laid off, I was being celebrated for being in the company for 3 years. That's insane. And you know, they were celebrating me for being there for 3 years or whatever, but you know, at this company, everything was the same work-wise. I didn't have to go to an office, which was okay, but I still missed the Google office, dude, because the Google office was like amazing. I already said it multiple times, but I just cannot get tired of how incredible the Google office really was. It was just so nice. Like, and I appreciate when companies do that because you're putting in work, you're putting in the effort to show your employees, like, I really want you to have a good time while you're working, and not necessarily a good time, but like, I really want you to enjoy coming to work. I don't want it to be like annoying and stressful, and the environment I can't work with this environment. Like, they really tried, like, they really did an amazing job. So, I mean, that was the only thing that I missed, but like, this job was okay. I was getting paid as well. And yeah, and I was there for 3 years. And then 2 weeks ago, February 27th, a Friday, I got laid off. Todo pasó así de la nada, fans. O sea, porque, como les dije, me contrataron, luego empecé a trabajar, el trabajo era lo mismo y teníamos un contrato con Google también. Entonces, lo que era trabajo en sí era exactamente lo mismo. La única diferencia es que pues no estaba en la oficina. Y pues obviamente me encantaba la oficina. Y ya no podíamos ir. Porque that's another thing that I remember. They actually told us that we could not go to the Google office anymore. Like, if we wanted to go, we had to ask for permission. We had to get permission granted. We had to get a day pass, and it was only for a day. And there was like, it was very like, there's only little things you can do. Like, it was nothing compared to what it was before. Entonces, sí, nada más era así de que pues todo era de casa. So everything was from home. Y les digo, en esa compañía pues estuve súper bien. De hecho, una semana antes de que me despidieran o que me dejaran ir, me estaban celebrando los 3 años que yo ya tenía trabajando en la compañía. O sea, yo no podía creerlo. Dije, no manches, 3 años. Y me dejaron ir como si nada. Yo dije, wow. Pero bueno, yeah, it just happened like that. And the day that I got laid off, which was February 27th, I woke up in the morning, and what pisses me off, though, is like, well, let me just say something real quick. I am grateful for the opportunity that I had at Randstad. I'm grateful for the time that I was there. Throughout those entire 3 years, though, I was never like, oh, I'm fine at this job. No, because there had been so many layoffs throughout those 3 years. There had been like 4 to 5 like layoffs that had happened. If I'm not mistaken, it was either 3 or 4 times that it happened. And it's so nerve-wracking. Because it's like, you're just thinking about it and you're like, what if it's me next? What's going to happen? Any little change, you're like, why am I getting this change? You know what I mean? So it wasn't like a walk in the park either, like, oh, I feel fine. No. And then especially after it had happened already once, pues ya. Porque digo yo, o sea, no, durante esos 3 años que trabajé con esa compañía nueva, ¿cuánto tengo grabando, fans? Es que luego se me va la onda. Ay, 50 minutos, rápido. Oye, bueno, o sea, durante esos 3 años que estuve ahí trabajando con ellos, fans, la verdad, no me sentía así de que súper a gusto porque honestamente ya habían pasado 3 o 4 veces que volvieron a despedir a bastantita gente. Gracias a Dios nunca me pasó hasta el 27 de febrero, que fue cuando me pasó. So I woke up that day and 2 days, like during that week, Monday, Tuesday, I was working. And then Wednesday, Thursday, I was in a training and I was still working. And apparently when you're supposed to be in training, you're not supposed to be getting work assigned. And I was still getting work assigned. And a week before, my lead, I had a one-on-one with my lead. And he was like, hey, just so you know, you're exceeding expectations. You've been doing a good job. If you need me to not send you as much work, or if you feel overwhelmed, let me know. Dude, of course I felt overwhelmed because it was a lot of work. But I was like, I'm going to get it done because I did not want to get laid off. So I was like, I'm going to get it done. But what is a little bit crazy is at the beginning of this year in January, I had been with because I had 3 leads while I was working there. And that kind of shows you like what I'm talking about, like the layoffs that they had. Because it's crazy. It's like, how do I get 3 leads during 3 years? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if this makes sense. But my first lead was laid off. Shout out to Lauren. Hey, Lauren. Love you and miss you. She was laid off. And Lauren she was that girl. She was like getting all the work done, doing all these things, being in so many projects, and she still got laid off. And then my second lead, shout out to Christian. Christian is also a good friend of mine. Miss you, Christian. I got laid off in case you don't know. Now you know. Christian was my lead after Lauren, and Christian was super cool as well. Christian was really nice. Christian helped me out, and I was like, and I could talk to Christian like, bitch, and Christian was like, what? And I'm like, no, dude, literally. And I could be myself with Christian and say all these things, which was fun. But I remember that he told me during the beginning of the year, I think it was like last week of January, and he said, hey, just so you know, starting February, you're gonna be moved to a different team. And I was like, why? He's like, don't worry, it's not just you, it's a couple of people. But he's like, you guys are being moved to a different team. And I just didn't understand why. And I'm like, and I told him, I was like, bitch, this is scaring me out. And he's like, no, like that's fine. They're just making some changes. But he's like, if I hear anything, I will let you know. Anything in the sense that there's gonna be layoffs or anything like that. He was like, I'll let you know. Like, I'll tell you what I hear. And I'm like, okay. And he was like, yeah. And I was in my new team for a month because I started February 1st with my new lead, and I was there for a month, and then I got laid off. And it was horrible. I don't know what the hell happened. And the training was over on Thursday. I wasn't getting any tickets assigned. And then Friday I woke up, I still wasn't getting any tickets assigned. And I was like, why am I not getting tickets assigned? And I immediately went into panic mode. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, this is not normal. And I was like checking my calendar and everything. Then when I was going through my emails, one of the emails said, important update. And I read the note and it said, this is a very important update. If you cannot make this meeting at this time, please let us know so we can reschedule as soon as possible. When I read that, I was like, girl, I'm getting laid off. Because that's the other thing that we, like amongst us RCs, we knew that when you had a meeting and it said important update or something like that, that's when you were getting the chop. And I read it. I reached out to a couple of my friends, Dulce and Elena. I'm like, hey, do you guys have this meeting? And, one of my friends was like, yes, I do. The other one was like, no, I don't. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I think I'm getting laid off. And then my other friend that had that meeting, she was like, I think I am too. And she had that meeting before I did, and she said, yep, I'm out. And then I had the meeting, and I was laid off. And of course, they read this whole thing that says, we're trying this, we're trying that, and this is what's going on, and this is not because of you, it's not because of your hard work. I'm like, of course it's not because of me, girl, because I've been working my ass off. ever since I got to this job, because I knew that this could happen again. And that's why I worked my ass off. And that's why I did not want this to happen again. And it still happened. And then she was like, anything, you know, and she was like, she didn't really know me because I had never had a conversation with her. I've seen her in meetings, but I never had a conversation with her. And she was like, hi, I just want you to know, like, you know, Raul, thank you so much for all your hard work, dedication. And in my head, I was like, guys, and I even recorded it. I'll show you later on. I even recorded when I was getting laid off, but they were like, yeah, thank you so much. And then she asks my lead that I had been with for a month already, but he already knew me before I was in his team, because I was part of a team of like certain tickets that we were getting and had to work on, where he was at like the one in charge. So he already knew who I was and like my workflow and everything. And she asks him like, hey, do you want to say anything else? Kid you not, his words were, yeah, Raul, thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. And that was it. And I was like, wow, that's all I get. Literally, that's all I get. So that was it, you guys. And now I am unemployed, but not for long, not for long. I am definitely going through it a little bit because I do feel a little bit sad. I feel a little bit anxious, but I'm like, girl, everything happens for a reason. Quickly, because I know it's already been 55 minutes. Let me tell you guys something. Which I did share this in my Instagram post that I posted the day that I got laid off. But the day that I had my 3 years celebrated, when they were like, yay, you know, been here for 3 years, my lead, my last lead, he was like, oh, you know, it's crazy. I've been here for 9 years. Time flies, blah, blah, blah. And that stuck with me. So that night I was washing dishes. And I remember Zoe was like in the sofa. He was just laying down, and on the couch. And I was washing dishes, and I clearly remember asking myself, "How long are you gonna be here for?" In my head, not out loud, just in my head, because I was like, "Dude, you've been here for 3 years. What I love to do, you guys, is this. I want to be an influencer. I want to vlog. Of course, I haven't done anything exciting, which is why I haven't vlogged like outside of my house, on this couch." But I will. And I love that. I want to be on TV. I want to be a TV personality. Like I just want to do that. So I was washing dishes and I was like, how long are you going to do this for? And I was like, I was like in my head, I remember I was like, God, like, I don't know what to do. Give me a sign, because I don't know what to do. I don't know how long I'm going to be here for. I don't know what step to take next. Like, what do I do? And I was like, I know I don't want to be here forever. It's been 3 years already. I don't want to waste my time. I want to be an influencer. I want to be a media personality. I want to make a name for myself. I want to be someone. And I kept saying all these things in my head as I was washing dishes and this and that. And then a week later, it happened. I got laid off. So that's the crazy part, because I'm like, dude, God was probably like, girl, if this didn't happen, you were not going to leave. So like this had to happen for this to happen. You know what I mean? I don't know if like I'm making sense, but I'm like, that's when I was like, girl, God is always listening. I am not a hard devoted. I was born and raised Catholic. I still think I'm Catholic myself. I'm not like hardcore Catholic. I don't go to church. I don't go to mass. I still pray. My faith is still like, strong, and I love God and all that. But I'm not like a hardcore Catholic. But that just proved to me, I was like, dude, God is always listening, and God is always there, and God always hears. Like everything that you're saying, girl, God is always listening. So when that happened, I was like, damn. I was like, God, I wasn't ready. I'm like, girl, calm down. I wasn't ready for this change right now. But then at the same time, me quedé así como la sticker or that emoji that they use of this one girl where she's like, because I was like, oh, fuck. What now? But yeah, so this is where we're at now. That was my story. Hope you guys liked it. I know it was super long, but I know you guys still enjoyed it. I know you guys had fun. And I don't know what I'm going to post next. Like I said, I actually want to vlog outside. So like outside as in doing something. But next time I'll just see what I'll vlog about, or I'll probably just go ahead and do another video like this, because I know you guys still like these videos too. They're still fun, girl. You still have fun. But thank you so much for enjoying this video, guys, or watching it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and enjoy the rest of your day.